Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius and Anucauskas. Today is the 26th of June 2019, so welcome everyone, welcome to this Wednesday's morning session where we're going to have a look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimers. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so also just a very quick mentioning here of our GFD Bank YouTube channel. So yep, please subscribe to it, so that you wouldn't miss out on any of the videos that we do on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, and in different languages. So yep, guys, feel free to, like I said, subscribe, and I believe you can find a lot of useful stuff here as well. So now then, let's jump into the charts. Now the first one I want to touch on here is the DAX30, so the German index. I talked about this one on Monday, and basically what I was telling you guys, that we may see this one sliding further down, and of course on Friday last week we saw this one closing in the red, but only for that day, and we kind of got this nice continuation to the downside, dropping below the 12,300 and well, actually 12,300 level. So but what I was also saying, that we would need to keep a close eye on this upside support line taken from the low of the 3rd of June. So and also keep an eye on this 12,225 level, approximately 25, 27, approximately there. Now if this line continues to hold, this upside line, then we may see a nice curve up here and a push higher. But for now, again, like I said, we can see that it's still kind of hasn't tested this upside line. So we're going to keep a close eye on it. If it continues to hold and pushes, let's say, back above the 12,300 level, then in a way we could target higher areas again. So like by higher areas I mean the highs of last week near the 12,436 or even above that. But for now, like I said, we are here, we're stuck near this upside line. Let's see if it holds. If it does, like I said, it could be a good opportunity for the bulls to step in again here and drive this one higher. And as I said, we will aim for the 12,300 level initially. We'll see how that's going to play out. A nice good pop above it could lead the index back towards last week's highs, or maybe even higher. For now, we're not going to rush in. We're not going to examine too high levels here. For now, we're just going to aim for the previous week's highs, the last week's highs, if we see a nice rebound from this upside line. If this upside line breaks, then well, in a way it could open the path back towards the psychological 12,000 level, which could in a way coincide here with the 200 EMA by the time the index would approach that area. For now, like I said, it is looking still somewhat positive because it's still above this upside line, but then again, be very careful with it in case this suddenly breaks below this and stays and closes the day, let's say, below this upside line. If that happens, then yep, we will aim for lower areas. Very quick jump into one commodity here, which is Brent oil. So I talked about this one as well, and basically I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on some of these key support and resistance levels. So As you can see, the Brent oil managed to travel lower, and initially this is when I was talking about this one on Monday basically, and we were trading around here, and what I said that we need to see a nice good drop below the 64 level before we could aim for slightly lower areas. That never happened. You can see that it tested the 64.10 area approximately around there, and reversed and pushed back above its 200 EMA on the 4-hour chart here. And not only that, it pushed back above the 65.70. This of course increases the chances now for Brent oil to climb a little bit higher. The next target for us is around the 67 zone, marked by the low here of the 23rd of May, so good potential target. If that gets overcome, then yep, the next target for us is around the 68.06 level, which marks the low of the 29th of May. So for now, we're just gonna aim for these two levels initially. Of course, like I said, the 67 zone. If that fails to withhold, the next potential target is around the 68. If this suddenly drops back below the 65.70 level, this is going to be our little neutral territory, because for us still in order to kind of aim for lower areas, we need to see a drop below the 64 zone before we could consider lower areas. Jumping into DXY here very quickly, so it also talked about this one recently. This one managed to find good support near the 95.90, rebounded and pushed higher. The only thing is that still that doesn't mean that we're gonna could continue pushing higher here. In order to aim for slightly higher levels here, we need to see a nice good push above the 96.45 zone here. As you can see, previously it acted as a very nice area of support. This time it could take on the role of a resistance level, so then a break above the 96.45 could potentially open the path towards the 96.58 or even the 96.80 zone, which is seen as actually a much better potential target here for us if the index travels above the 96.45. In terms of the downside here, well, we're going to take a more conservative approach here. As you probably now understood where I'm heading with this, I mean, we'll wait for a drop below the 95.90 first before kind of aiming for slightly lower areas. A drop below the 95.90 could lead towards a test of the 95.75, but if that is just seen as a temporary pit stop here for the sellers, then the next area here could be around the 95.46-45 zone. Let me just quickly highlight this for our future reference so that we would come back to this one in one of our next videos, just to see how DXY moved along here. So basically, for now, like I said, we are gonna continue observing these areas. So on the upside is the 96.45 level that we need to see a break off before we could aim for higher areas. And in terms of the downside, a drop below 95.90 could open the path towards lower areas, as this would confirm a forthcoming lower low, and yep, like I said, could lead towards further declines. Jumping into NZDUSD now very quickly. So this one is very relevant, and I talked about this pair yesterday in my Trader's Tea Time, and basically what I was saying that basically we did get an interest rate decision from the RBNZ overnight. Of course, it wasn't a huge surprise. I mean, the rate stayed the same at 1.5, and this, of course, initially we saw NZD kind of New Zealand dollar selling off, and again against a bunch of like other major counterparts. But as you can see, it traveled lower. It tested this upside line here, taken from the low of the 18th of June, slightly overshot it, but quickly reversed back to the upsides, and now it's kind of trying to continue pushing higher. This is for now coming in line with what I was talking about yesterday, as we may see this one traveling further up here. This is what I was talking about. Basically, we could see a test of the 0 0.6682, 83 level here, marked near the highs of the 7th of June, or in other words, the highest point of June. We may see a test of that one. If it holds, this could be a good opportunity for the bears to step in again here and drive this one to the downside. Now, what I also wanted to show you guys that to kind of keep in mind here, in a way, potentially what we could see here is a very wide range eventually. So that's why for now, just keep this idea. This needs to get confirmed, of course. For now, if this gets confirmed, this would be a nice range. We may see this one actually traveling back down here, especially if we see a drop below this upside line. If that line gets broken, then yep, further declines are possible. But for now, from the very short-term perspective, there is a good possibility for this one to push further up. This leads us to another pair that I looked at yesterday, and that was GBPNZD. I talked about this one as well, and basically I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on this level right here at 1.9110, which, as you can see, got broken and nicely here, and it managed to travel towards the next target that we had here, that I talked about at 1.904950, so approximately around there. So now you can see that this got broken as well. And but still, the target that I also mentioned was the psychological 190 level. So keep an eye on this one today. We may see even actually a small maybe overshoot here below that. Undershoot here below that, and we could maybe test a few other areas below like the S2 here, which is today's S2, which is around the 1.8984, something like that. In other words, basically, long story short, guys, we are still bearish on this pair. It could continue traveling lower. Initially, we will target this 1.90 level, the psychological 1.90, and then we'll take it from there, see actually if it wants to reverse maybe for a small correction back to the upside. But in order to kind of get comfortable with higher levels, ideally we would like to see a push back above this 1.9245 zone, approximately there, and only then we will aim for slightly higher levels. We're not going to go drastically to the upside here. We're just going to target initially the 1.9415 or maybe slightly above that, but again, we need to see this one reversing sharply back above the 1.9245. If for those who are more on the riskier side, or you could in a way start considering the upside if we get a push back above the 1.9110, but then again, be very careful here. Still, it could get held somewhere around here in midway, and maybe near the 1.92, and then kind of reverse and push back down again. So that's why this level here, the 1.9245, becomes a more of a cautious kind of approach here in order to kind of aim for higher levels. And the last pair I wanted to quickly touch on, and that's euro dollar, and this is basically doing what I was talking about this week as well when I was covering euro dollar. So after we got this upside line, the short-term upside line broken, what I said was that we may see this one traveling further down. A test of the 1.1348 zone could be possible, and this is what we got. But if it fails to close below this, then we may see this one correcting maybe back to the upside. So for now, of course, it did rebound from this 1.1348. That said, we're going to be very careful here today, because if this decides to travel eventually below the 1.1348, and let's say closes a 4-hour candle below this, then, well, I mean, this could in a way lead towards the 113 zone again. We could see a revisit of that one, but if this continues to hold, if the 1.1348 continues to hold, we could see this one rebounding and maybe pushing back up again. So this is where we could target this this week's high near the 1.14 12, 13 level, approximately around there. Like I said, if this level continues to hold, the 1.1348 continues to hold, then yep, we may see a rebound here and a push higher. For now, we're going to, like I said, we're going to remain neutral on this one. We're going to continue observing the price action, and as I said, if it drops suddenly below the 1.1348 and closes the 4-hour candle below this, then in a way it increases the chances for a further slide towards the 1.13 zone. So Okay guys, I hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for sticking around and watching until the end. And if you want to join me later on at my traders tea time, as always, that's 13:15 GMT time. If you don't want to miss that, you can always subscribe to our YouTube channel here and click on the ring on the bell, and so that you would get notifications about the upcoming videos and when the videos are released. So yeah guys, feel free to check us out, and on our website as well we do do a lot of different analysis on a daily basis. So I believe you can find some useful stuff here as well. So yep, feel free to visit us, but for now I hope you have a wonderful trading day guys, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.